From the first moments of our existence, there is an invisible force that guides us and molds us for a greater purpose. This often incomprehensible force chooses some of us for special missions that transcend common understanding. You who are reading this now could be one of those chosen. Your journey from your first breath has been carefully orchestrated to reveal a unique and meaningful destiny. Let's explore together the signs that indicate you have been chosen from the beginning and how these signs manifest throughout your life. The first breath, the beginning of the journey. When you took your first breath, a sacred energy was already in motion. Your existence was not a mere chance, but part of a divine plan laid out long before you opened your eyes to this reality. Regardless of the circumstances of your birth or where you came into the world, your life has a purpose beyond human understanding. The chosen ones know, albeit unconsciously, that their spiritual journey began even before they were born. Your soul was prepared to be here at this moment, living exactly what you are living. Every detail, from the place you were born to the first words you heard, is part of a greater plan. You were chosen by God, and from your first breath you were destined to follow a unique path. The restlessness of the soul from childhood, the chosen ones feel a restlessness within themselves, a sense that their life has a profound meaning. This restlessness is a spiritual calling that sets them apart from others. While other children seemed carefree, playing without great questions, you had an unusual sensitivity. You saw the world differently, with a depth in your thoughts and emotions that sometimes isolated you from others. This feeling of being different is not by chance. The chosen ones are touched by something spiritual from the earliest years of life. Remember those moments of solitude when it seemed like no one around you understood you. That happened because, even without knowing it, you were already in tune with a much greater energy. Your soul already knew you had a special mission, even if you couldn't put it into words at the time. The connection to the unseen, the chosen ones, from childhood, have a connection with the unseen. While others followed the normal paths of life, you had a curiosity that went beyond the superficial. Perhaps you spent hours in silence, observing the world, reflecting on things that seemed unexplainable. In those moments, you were not alone. A spiritual presence accompanied you, guiding and protecting you, preparing your soul for the challenges to come. Many chosen ones report that in childhood they had experiences that others would consider strange or supernatural. Perhaps you dreamed of things that seemed impossible or had the feeling that you knew something before it happened. These small manifestations are common among the chosen ones because, from an early age, their soul is already in tune with the divine. It doesn't matter if at the time no one believed in you or if you preferred to keep those experiences to yourself. The important thing is that all of this was part of your spiritual awakening in adolescence. There comes a time in the lives of all chosen ones when the weight of this journey begins to manifest itself more strongly. For many, this occurs in adolescence, a phase filled with questions, changes, and above all, confusion. The feeling of being different, which was already subtly perceptible in childhood, becomes a reality you can no longer ignore. You can recall moments when you looked around and felt like you didn't belong anywhere. Other teenagers seemed so sure of their ways, while you struggled with deep doubts, with questions no one could answer. Insecurities surfaced, but at the same time, there was something within you that knew these doubts were a reflection of the spiritual calling that until then you hadn't fully understood. The internal struggle, the spiritual awakening of the chosen ones, is marked by an intense internal struggle. While your friends worried about superficial things, you were immersed in thoughts about the meaning of life, your place in the world, and why you seemed to be on a completely different journey. The expectations the world imposed seemed to disagree with what you felt inside. There was a constant battle between trying to adapt to social norms and the invisible force that pushed you away from them. This internal struggle is necessary. It's the universe's way of preparing you, making you question, so that one day you'll find the answers. The chosen ones go through intense trials in adolescence because it is at that moment that awakening begins to intensify. Doubts multiply, and emotions seem to always be on edge. It's not uncommon for many chosen ones to face feelings of loneliness, isolation, or even inadequacy. The transition to adulthood. The transition to adulthood is a crucial point for the chosen ones. After an adolescence marked by doubts and internal conflicts, there comes a time when the pieces of the puzzle begin to fit together. What once seemed like a mix of confusion and uncertainty begins to make sense, and you begin to realize that the experiences you've had up to this point had a much greater purpose than you could have imagined. Awakening in this phase of life is like a flash of lightning that illuminates the darkness. Suddenly, everything becomes clear. You begin to realize that it wasn't just life that shaped you, but an invisible force, a spiritual presence that has been with you from the beginning. It is at this moment that many chosen ones feel called to something higher, something that transcends worldly concerns. Spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening in adulthood is marked by a sense of clarity. The doubts that plagued your mind in youth begin to dissipate, and in their place emerges a certainty. You have been chosen for a unique mission. However, this awakening is not always peaceful. For many chosen ones, the arrival of adulthood brings with it even greater pressure. Daily responsibilities, societal expectations, and even family ties can become sources of tension. You feel like you are being pulled in several directions at once, as if the world is trying to trap you in a common routine. But something within you endures. You know you were not made for a life of conformity, and this creates a constant conflict between what is expected of you and what your spirit desires. The responsibility of the chosen one. With spiritual awakening comes a responsibility. Now you can no longer deny who you are. Life may continue to present distractions, difficulties, and even temptations to lead you astray. But your spirit has already recognized the truth. The more you try to run from this call, the heavier it becomes. Awakening is a point of no return. From this point on, you can no longer live with your eyes closed. Every step you take is watched, guided, and protected by a higher force. It is this same force that will sustain you as you begin to assume your role as the chosen one. Adulthood also brings the need to make conscious choices. While the world around you remains distracted by the illusions of modern life, you are called to look beyond, to see the truth that few can see. The loneliness of awakening. To look beyond, to see the truth that few can see. The loneliness of awakening, spiritual awakening, places you in a position of clarity, but also of loneliness. You may feel that the further you advance on your path, the further you distance yourself from the people who were once a part of your life. This doesn't mean you are alone. It means you are being taken to a higher spiritual level where few can reach. Awakening can be frightening, but it is also liberating. As you recognize who you truly are, the ties that bound you to the past begin to loosen. You realize that you are not here to please everyone, but to fulfill your God-given purpose. With this clarity comes a peace that the world cannot take away from you. No matter how difficult the path ahead, you know you have been guided from the moment you took your first breath. Divine purpose. We reach a pivotal moment in the lives of the chosen, the point at which divine purpose begins to manifest clearly and evidently. After years of silent preparation, inner struggle, and spiritual awakening, you begin to understand that your life is part of a much larger plan, a plan that transcends common human understanding. At this moment, it's no longer just about who you are, but why you're here. The weight of this responsibility is immense, but it's also liberating. You were chosen for a special mission, and now is the time to act. You may feel that, up to this point, your life has been a sequence of trials and tribulations that seemed endless. But now it all begins to make sense. Every challenge overcome was a divine tool, molding you for this exact moment. The action of the chosen one. Here is the most powerful truth. You have never been alone on your journey. God has always been by your side, guiding your steps, even when you couldn't see it. Your purpose is not a coincidence or a work of chance, but a divine calling that has always been within you, waiting for the right moment to blossom. Now that you have awakened to this reality, the next step is to assume the role destined for you. Being chosen is not just a spiritual title, it's a responsibility that requires action. The world needs you, your light, your wisdom, and your gifts. They are an essential part of divine plan to transform the environment around you. And here's a secret that many chosen people are slow to understand. Your purpose isn't just in the future, it's already happening in the now. Every action of yours, no matter how small, is contributing to the fulfillment of this greater plan, the call to action. That's why the call to action is so important. Now, more than ever, you are called to align your choices with your purpose. This means that you may need to leave some things behind, habits, relationships, or even old ways of thinking. As chosen, your mission no longer allows you to cling to what doesn't serve you spiritually. The path you must follow is clear, but it requires courage. Courage to be different, to swim against the current, and to face the criticism and curious glances of those who don't understand what you're going through. But you weren't chosen to please everyone. You were chosen to serve a greater purpose, and that's what matters. The chosen often feel the pressure to be examples to others, and this responsibility can seem overwhelming. But remember, God didn't put you in this position by chance. He gave you the strength and gifts necessary to fulfill your mission. At times you may doubt yourself, wondering if you're truly up to this calling. But keep in mind that this is only part of your journey. Every chosen person goes through moments of insecurity, but it's in those moments that your faith must be strongest. The impact of the chosen. When you feel like you have no more strength, remember that divine power has always been within you, waiting to be activated. This is the moment when your purpose begins to influence not only your life, but the lives of those around you. Notice that your presence, your words, and even your actions have a greater impact than you imagined. People may be drawn to you, seeking advice or comfort, even without understanding why. And this is a sign that your light is shining brighter. Your purpose is to be a beacon for those who are lost, guiding them towards spiritual truth. And in doing so, you will be fulfilling the plan God laid out for you from your first breath. However, being chosen doesn't mean the path will be easy. The closer you get to fulfilling your purpose, the more challenges will arise. This happens because the world around you can resist transformation. But here's something to remember. Challenges are confirmation that you are on the right path. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity for growth, a chance to prove to yourself and the universe that you are ready to fulfill your destiny. The realization of divine purpose. And with each victory, no matter how small, you come closer to the full realization of your divine purpose. This is the time to make conscious decisions, to choose to live in accordance with what you have been called to do. The time for hesitation is over. Now you must act with confidence, knowing that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Everything you need is already within you. The gifts you have received, the experiences you have had, and the wisdom you have acquired over the years are the tools you will use to fulfill your mission. Every step you take from now on is a step toward the fulfillment of this divine plan. Now that you know how great your journey is, do not let this truth go unnoticed. You are chosen, and the world needs your light. It is time to act. Take this moment to reflect on everything you've already experienced and how it has shaped you. To fulfill your purpose, share in the comments how your awakening has been and where you're watching us from. I'd love to hear more from you. Oh, and if this message has touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and activate the bell to receive more videos like this one. Your journey is just beginning, and I'm here with you every step of the way. Let's grow together. May God bless you always, and I'll see you in the next video.